3, 2, 1, roll the footage. Welcome back, everybody, to the Strategy Sprints podcast. I'm your host, Simon Severino, and my guest today is the founder and CEO of Option Alpha, a technology company focused on building advanced end-to-end automation technology for options traders. It started as a blog and was recently included in the Inc. 500 fastest growing private companies. The company is currently headquartered in Miami, Florida. The Option Alpha community includes more than 240,000 investors from 48 countries and all 7 continents around the globe. Welcome, everybody. Kirk du Plessis.
How you doing?
I'm excited. I'm going to Miami.
Yeah, I'm not in Miami. Most of the guys are there. So
why? Where are you?
I'm outside Pittsburgh in PA. So, but we had an office, like a WeWork office in Miami. So we still have the WeWork office, but nobody's there anymore, with all the pandemic stuff. So yeah, so that's where most of the guys are located. But the whole team is like all over the country. So
well, but Miami doesn't really care about pandemic. They do party all the time, and it's part of the new Silicon Valley, right?
It's been pretty popular. Yeah, I mean, like fintech and a lot of tech is down in Miami now. So we seem to be in the right place at the right time. So
absolutely, and they party like there is no tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to have you here. Tell us, you started with a blog.
Yeah,
but then what happened then?
I still don't know. I mean, I feel like it's still growing, from like a small blog. I mean, it was just it was an idea that I had to start journaling and talking about trading and like sharing my thoughts. And some of the first blog posts that I ever did were 5 or 6 sentences, and were horrible. They probably wouldn't even be considered blogs anymore. It would be considered like just a, enlarged comment, if you will. And, but, people start asking questions. I got sick and tired of answering the same questions through email. So I would create a video to answer the question, right? And then people start asking, well, I have all these videos that you're linking to. Can you put them together in a course? And so it was a very natural thing that we started doing. And eventually we just started creating a lot of courses and content and kept giving it away for free. And we still do to this day, give all of our courses and education content away for free. And then over time, we started developing software and research products. And here we are. So.
And people love it. And who are the people using it mainly?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, Option Alpha is, our main goal is to really like educate the trading community. So options trading is this very, crazy thing that people hear about sometimes or they read about. I mean, even like this year, it's got a lot of attention, through the Reddit boards and meme stocks and stuff like that. But I think that what we're trying to do is just educate people on what trading is and how they could use strategies or how they can combine strategies with what they're already doing. So in that sense, we have a lot of people who are newbie investors that, come brand new into the market. They have no idea, what an option contract is or how to use it, all the way to the most advanced traders, people who are portfolio managers, people who have started hedge funds that, use our services and products to, get different ideas and learn research, learn about research and technical analysis or strategies and performance. So we have a really big group of people who are very advanced traders. They trade a lot. They just want to use better tools or, gain a little bit more of a competitive edge in the market. So I always say it's like Option Alpha is like a 2-humped camel. Like we have a lot of newbies and we have a lot of experienced people, and I think it blends together pretty well. So.
And it trades only options or also stock?
Yeah, I mean, you could trade. I mean, through Option Alpha, you have the ability to trade options or stocks, when you connect to your brokerage account. But yeah, I mean, like our main focus is on teaching people about options trading.
Beautiful. And so give us a quick intro. What are options and how to best start?
I mean, that's always like the toughest question, right? Because like options trading is not something you can really simply explain in like 5 or 6 sentences, but I'll try my best. You have regular stock trading, which is just buying, shares of a company or buying an ETF or buying some index, right? And that's what most people are used to. And in fact, that's how most people are introduced to investing is you buy shares of a company or you buy an index and you just buy and hold. But there's this whole other world called options contracts and options trading. and they basically derive their value from the underlying shares, like a stock or an ETF. And you have two different types of options contracts, calls and put options. And options introduce another layer of complexity because now you have to deal with things like expiration dates and strike prices and premiums. But the beauty of option contracts to me is that you can start to create payoff diagrams and strategies that work in different market environments. So it's not just a, like one-way street where you have to buy something low and then sell it high to generate a profit. You can create payoff diagrams that say, look, I'll potentially make money if the stock trades between 50 and 100 in the next month, or if the stock moves more than $10 in the next 2 weeks, right? So there's a real opportunity to create payoff diagrams for other alternative scenarios rather than just simply buying something low and selling it high. Does that make sense?
I guess it sounds complicated, but I think you have made it as clear as possible.
I think I've hopefully planted the seed to get people interested in it. I always tell people, like, options trading, it's not complicated, but it's not easy to do. Like, it actually is not that difficult when you really get down and go through the videos and the training on it. It makes total sense. We use option contracts all the time in our regular daily life. If you have insurance on your house or your car, you're using an option contract, you just don't know it, or maybe you call it something different. So I think it's actually something that you can do. It's just you got to get over some of the terminology and just, kind of get your feet wet for a little bit, but it doesn't take that long. And
there are a lot of videos on Option Alpha where you can study this thing, people, and the videos have great reviews. People say that you have the ability to make really, really clear, really good videos.
I appreciate it.
And so you start this blog, but then something happens, traction. And what happened next?
I mean, I think that it just naturally occurred. We haven't been a company. We really started only doing paid advertising at the end of last year. So we've been around for over 10 years and we just started advertising a little bit. And I say like a little bit of advertising compared to where we're at. It was something that grew very naturally, very organic. We just continue to put out a lot of content. We do lots of videos, podcasts, courses, books, PDFs, downloads, and we just continue to push them out in the community, get feedback, reformat them, create new ones, push it back out, etc. So it was very much something that was it happened slowly, and then overnight it seems like we're like a bigger thing, But for me, it's been a very slow trajectory process that we've been on for quite some time. So we've been a 10-year overnight success, but we still have a long way to go. If I don't think we're even close to being done. But really our focus mainly has been on, new technology and software over the last 5 years. So we've had a real big push and a huge investment into better trading tools and better technology for traders. I feel like traders for the most part have been lost, to a lot of these brokerage platforms that have been just focused on reducing commissions, which is great. And I appreciate that and love it. And I love lower commissions, but a lot of the technology has been stale and outdated for the better part of a decade. And so we thought that we had an opportunity to come in and create better technology.
I'm so curious who you nominate for the strategy award after one word from our sponsors.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.
When everybody's zigging, this person is zagging. But from your perspective, they're doing the right thing. Who is this person?
I think recently, probably the best example of this that I think of is Jason Field from Basecamp. He's the CEO of Basecamp. I've always loved his work. He actually wrote a book called Rework, which was great. And I just think that he takes a different approach to running a business. I think it's not the traditional approach, but it's worked out extremely well. And so while I don't necessarily agree with like every single thing that somebody else does, I think that you look at somebody like that who's clearly built a very successful software company and suite of software companies, and what he does and how he structures his companies. And I think there's a lot that people can take out of it. So I think he does a great job.
Absolutely. And what are you excited about your business looking forward? Where is your business in 3 years?
I have no idea where it'll be in 3 years. But I think that what I'm excited about in this industry is that options trading, I feel like, has gotten, it's obviously gained a lot of traction. I think that people are starting to recognize that trading is a thing, right? And it's not just something that a group of traders do, like kind of in secret or in some back, boardroom on the internet. I think that people are really looking at options trading as a viable alternative to regular equity trading. And so what I'm excited about is I'm excited about the way that the whole industry is moving, hopefully towards making it a lot more efficient, easier access, better technology for traders. Because frankly, the technology, like I said, has been lagging for the better part of a decade or more. And so I think that now that things are accessible, they're a little bit cheaper, markets are more efficient for access for traders around the world. The technology piece is going to catch up pretty quick. And I think it's going to be super interesting to see where that goes.
3 books that shaped you most.
Yeah, I have some like weird ones. Like one, Jason, Fried Field's book, Rework, is a great one. The One Thing by Gary Keller is a favorite of mine. I've read it multiple times, so I like that one. And then one that's not related to business necessarily, but it's a book that I actually have like right back here on my shelf, and it's called The Misbehaviors of Markets. It's just a really good book by Richard. Richard Hudson was one of the co-authors that we interviewed on it, but it just talks about like what markets, like how crazy markets can actually be. And so as an investor, I've always loved it because it shows us just how irrational things can get and how extreme they can get. And it often happens more than we think, right? So it's a good, like common sense, book that I feel like as an investor kind of grounds you into understanding that things can be really crazy.
And also entrepreneurial life can be quite crazy. How do you manage all this scaling? I guess you are hiring a lot.
Yeah.
And when you scale, you have to make sure you don't scale chaos. How do you navigate these waters?
I haven't perfected it by any stretch. We've hired a lot of people just in the last 6 months, as we've rolled out our platform and started to do more of the auto trading and, rolling it out to our members and customers. I think that to me, it's having people that I really trust kind of leading the different teams in our company. We just hired somebody a couple days ago, which like I knew that we were hiring somebody, but for the first time, I wasn't part of the hiring process, so that was a learning experience for me to not be part of that process. But I feel like you have to have the right people in the right seats, if you will. There's some analogy or some talk about that, like having the right people in the right seats on the bus. And I really feel like that's it. If somebody's not in the right seat, it's just, they might have to move to a different seat in your company. Like they might have to do something different that they want to do and that they're really good at. I think if we have the right people in the right seats, we have the right, leaders for our teams, it makes my job a lot easier. And so that's been, definitely part of the process to find those people and get them in the right places.
What have you recently changed your mind about?
Recently changed my mind. I've recently changed my mind, I guess you could say, like on the hiring side. I think that hiring, there's so many things that you can do automated nowadays. I think that when it comes to a company that is supporting people with a product, like a software product, the default that I would have normally gone to, like in thinking about building out our company, was that you had amazing, help docs, which we do, and I'm very proud of our help docs. You had great tutorials and all that stuff, but you didn't really have, or you saw a lot of companies try to shy away from having a big support staff. And one thing that I've really leaned into over the last, call it 2 years really, is like making our support team and our support staff the biggest team in our company. And they are. And like, that's where all of our hires have been, is in additional support staff, additional, people to help out with, we call them bot doctors, like help, diagnose issues and solve problems for traders. I don't think that you could have enough of those people in your company. And so for us, I originally had thought, and I say like, 2 years ago, like, oh, we don't need a lot of that stuff. But then I very quickly changed my mind and said, actually, that probably is the thing that we need the most moving forward. And so we've really invested in support and, customer service. And I think it shows. And I think that you look at companies who haven't done that, even companies in our space that haven't done that, and the backlash is just ridiculous. Like if you need help, you should be able to get help, pretty quickly. And I think that that's one thing that I didn't know how important it was, but I do know how important it is now. Yeah.
Who should not start trading options?
I mean, I think that you could trade options even if you have a little bit of money. If you don't have any money, you shouldn't trade options, right? That's one thing. If you feel like you gamble when you invest, you probably shouldn't trade options. If you have no plan whatsoever and you're just shooting from the hip, you probably shouldn't invest, and trade options. If you're following some internet meme board or some Reddit thread or some, traded and you have no idea what they're doing and you're just blindly follow it, you probably shouldn't invest. There's probably a lot of reasons why you shouldn't do it. But I think that what it comes down to investing, most people want to invest for the long-term reasons, right? They want to build wealth, they want to generate income, they want to have stability and security. But then where they fail is they fail in the actual day-to-day execution, because even though they want all those long-term things, their actual actions are more reminiscent of a gambler, of a speculator. I think that if you have a big disconnect between those two and you can't control your emotions enough to, make those two synonymous, then I think that you should avoid trading until you can get to that point, right?
Where can people stick around and find you?
Definitely on Option Alpha. On Option Alpha, that's where all of our content is. So just on optionalpha.com.
And who should be my next guest?
I would say, look, I'll nominate a good friend of mine, wicked smart business owner, Cole Humphreys. He had a company that he sold a couple of years back. Me and Cole have been good friends for a long time, but not only am I just good friends with him, but he is also one of the smartest people I know in business. I go to him often for advice and consultation and, get his perspective on things. So I think that Cole is definitely the best one.
Thank you so much. And everybody, if you're interested in options trading, go to Kirk to Plessis, go to Option Alpha, check these guys out. This is the place for it. Thank you so much, Kirk,
Thank you
for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom. Please come back soon.
Thanks.
Hey, if you like the tools, go grab them for free at strategysprints.com/tools.